Hello and welcome to Supernatural Selection. I'm your host, Kevin the Bastard. With me this week are Mike the Skeptic. Mike, how are you? Are the straps holding you to the chair comfortable?
I didn't realize I was strapped down. I was just kind of sitting here, vibing.
Oh, awesome.
Moisturize in my lane.
God damn it. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I strapped you down because this is going to be a rough one. It's for your safety and mine. So, we also have, of course, Mr. David Davis. David, how are you today?
You know, I'm doing okay. I do have some illicit government material I've been keeping in my house. That shouldn't be a problem, right?
No, you're not in Florida, so you should be fine.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah, California, the government doesn't even like to acknowledge that California's there. You guys are like the antithesis of everything they hold dear, I think. Yeah, so before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping here. Yesterday I recorded a guest spot on a podcast called Flagged for Content, run by Andy, a.k.a. Darth Plato, who is on our Discord. And it's a podcast about flags, and we had a good time riffing on foreign flags. And me trying to guess where some of them came from. And I'm really excited about it. I had a ball. And that is going to go live on August 19th. So if you're listening to this on the station, that's going to be next Friday. So I'm excited about that. I'm looking forward to hearing it. I'm looking forward to everyone else getting a chance to hear it. I'll put a link to his podcast in the show notes.
Sounds fun.
Also known as the Shoats.
The Shoats. I like that, the Shoats. So, this week, after a minor scheduling snafu in general, we're going to cover... Now, let me say that this is going to be what we'll call part 2 of the origins of humanity. Graham Hancock is sort of retroactively part 1, because this is the kind of stuff he deals with, except this is way more ancient aliens than Hancock usually gets into. And we're going to be talking about Zechariah Sitchin. And this is hardcore ancient astronaut stuff. Now, David, you and I did a little bit of talking about that on a Patreon episode. But, Mike, David, what do you guys know about the ancient astronauts?
They were ancient and they were astronauts.
Very good, Mike. Thank you. I'm glad you're here to clear this stuff up.
That's literally me answering a question on a quiz or something.
Ancient astronauts are astronauts who are ancient.
Who are older than usual.
So we're talking like Buzz Aldrin when they shot him up on the space shuttle when he was like 90?
Okay.
William Shatner?
Or
it's kind of like that, but Moses.
William Shatner, I mean, is he really an astronaut? He only went up to the Kármán line.
No,
I mean,
he's in
how high have you gotten, Mike?
I mean, you know, that's a quite personal question. I live in Mississippi, which is quasi-legal, so I can't really answer that.
Well, there was that edible that time.
Yeah. Wait, hey, I said don't incriminate me, bro.
Sorry, there was nothing. We did nothing.
But no, I mean, 30,000 feet or whatever a, commercial airliner goes to.
Okay, that's fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, so the Shat has gone higher than me, I will admit, but an astronaut, really?
Okay, this is like arguing the Bezos thing.
Yeah, that's because he literally went on Bezos' penis boat.
Yes, I'm familiar. So, David, you were going to say something there?
Yeah, ancient astronauts theory, as far as I see it, and this is my hot take, it's paranormal bookstore racism. Just the idea that people of color could not create large-scale engineering projects without the guidance of a quote-unquote higher intelligence.
Oh, yeah, no, this is totally basically people looking at ancient structures and going, I don't know who built that, but I tell you one thing, they weren't fucking brown.
The Egyptians surely didn't know trigonometry and know how to build a pyramid.
Surely they didn't know how to pile rocks until you ran out of rocks.
And make the bottom wider than the top.
Yeah. It's seriously, we are talking about a theory that basically says ancient people didn't know basic shapes.
You look at a fucking hill, the bottom is wider than the top.
This is very, very true.
I mean, in nature, there's very few things where the bottom is skinnier than the top. So it stands to reason. Well, you know, but like I said, I didn't say impossible. I said very rare.
Okay, that's fair.
And usually it's erosion.
So, but we kind of, Mike, you agree with the whole idea that the ancient astronaut theory is basically brown people couldn't do that.
I mean, I don't want to put words in their mouths. I mean, a lot of these people also espouse that, you know, even white people couldn't make things because, you know, they say, you know, microchips came from aliens and pretty much every technological advance came from aliens.
You do have a point there that every modern thing came from Roswell. Okay, that's fair. So, like I said, today we're going to be talking about Zechariah Sitchin, and we're going to be talking about his Sumerian-centered ideas about where we came from.
Sumera-centric?
Yeah. But we're going to talk about those ideas, about where we came from, why we're here, and maybe where we're going.
Hell.
Yes, absolutely. But first, let's talk a little bit about the man himself, shall we?
Do we have to?
Absolutely.
I heard Mike already crack open a cold one.
I think that was a Coke.
Yeah, it was a cold Coke Zero, but
but Mike's already got his rum. He's good.
I'm not a beer man. I'm a rum man.
So you do the rum first, then the Coke after.
Yes.
Yeah. Off
well, it is rum and Coke, so
yes.
that implies a sequence.
Absolutely.
Now it's time for the Coke.
All right. So, sorry, my microphone turned off for a second.
The podcast doesn't want you to continue.
We are, I know. My technology is like, no, don't spread this. Oh, God. So, Zechariah Sitchin was born in 1920 in Soviet Azerbaijan. I'm proud of my pronunciation on that. And he was raised in, at the time, it was called Mandatory Palestine, which is a really hardcore name for modern Israel.
Yeah, no, that. Yeah, if you had watched Miss Marvel, you'd know about that.
Oh well, yeah, okay, that's fair. So he graduated from the University of London with a degree in economics, and he worked for a shipping firm in New York, which means he is uniquely qualified to tell us about history and aliens.
Well, I mean, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
That's very, very true. So at this point, it's 1952, and he has taught himself to read cuneiform, ancient Sumerian, and Akkadian. And what does it mean when you teach yourself something?
You don't know shit.
And no one tells you you're wrong.
Now, Akkadian we're talking about in Louisiana, right?
No.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
No, nobody can understand that.
I don't know. I guarantee I can.
Oh, bite me. So, if this info seems a little bit vague, it's because there's honestly not a hell of a lot of information about the man's past out there. I mean, there's some, but it's not what he's known for. And I honestly think he just lived a relatively simple and unremarkable life until he jumped career tracks.
So, he was a simple kind of man?
Oh, God.
Something you love and understand?
Well, we see a lot of this with people in this field, though, this larger paranormal, UFO bullshit. Mm-hmm. They tend to, obscure or hide information on their background because questions naturally come up, and they want to control how they're seen in an attempt to give themselves some kind of legitimacy. So it seems like maybe he's also kind of curating his story here.
That's true, but, I will give him credit for not ever claiming to be a doctor.
Right. Well, and then also it's 1920 Soviet Azerbaijan, so...
Yeah, that's true. So, It's around this same time he also begins visiting archaeological sites in the Middle and Near East, specifically Iraq, Egypt, and the Holy Land. And it's from his observations and readings in these places that he began to craft his theories.
Now, when you say he also began visiting, does he just like fucking pop up? Like he comes up with his can of Coke and his umbrella and it's like, hey guys, what's up? Can I tag along?
Yeah, actually. And also, like, you know, he made friends. He had connections as he worked in shipping, so he knew people. He had to deal with, like, customs, so it'd be like, hey, can you get me on this site? I'm guessing.
Do you think he smuggled antiquities?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's a very good question. I hope not. But I will say
for Hobby Lobby.
Oh, God. How much will you give me for this ancient seal? But honestly, it talks about a lot of his research was like, he also did a lot of research of artifacts in museums, so hopefully he did not steal these things. So, start studying all this in 52, and this all actually came to a head in 1976, the year I was born.
Year before I was born.
When he published his first book, The 12th Planet, which outlines our alien origins. Now, this was the first book in what would eventually be known as the Earth Chronicles, and he would continue this series for 7 books, along with several companion books until 2007.
I love that young adult series.
The Earth Chronicles?
Yes.
Yeah.
The movies didn't do it justice.
Yeah, it sounds like Warhammer 40K collection, you know, because you also have the companion book. You know, you got to understand how those Necrons work.
Yeah, no, I need the Codex Anunakki so I can play.
He's all about the expansions.
Oh, yeah, man.
But I'm serious. After 6th edition, it just went downhill.
Yeah, no. I mean, when they turned the Anunnaki into fungus, I just checked out. So, that's a deep cut. So, he and Eric von Daniken would be at the forefront of the ancient astronaut world, and I have a plan to eventually cover Eric von Daniken, but they were both giving lectures, and he was appearing on television and in documentaries until Zechariah Sitchin died in 2011.
So he died knowing his theories were 100% correct and nobody could disprove them, right?
Well, I'm sure that's what he believed.
Belief's a powerful drug.
Ain't it? I mean, like, it's like cocaine. Belief's a hell of a drug. Charlie Murphy. Okay, so... All right. Now, there's one question I do not have down here, and I'm sure Mike is chomping at the bit wondering, why the hell is it called the 12th planet, right?
It hadn't crossed my mind, but yes, that is quite a valid question.
Well, the reason it's called the 12th planet is because the Sumerians counted the sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, the moon.
Of course, the moon. Luna.
The ones after that, Jupiter.
What about Mars?
Saturn. I thought I said Mars.
I don't know.
Okay.
I was going in order, so I didn't hear Mars after Earth. So,
well, anyway, and then counting this other planet that the book is about, it makes 12.
Okay.
Because reasons. So I just think it's interesting. It's called the 12th planet, and he very easily could have just called it the 10th planet and not confuse people. So just, an aside there.
I'm trying to figure out, like, that only gets me to, like, 10 in what you could see, pre-telescope.
But no, Mike.
I know I'm putting logic here.
Now he explains it very well in the book, in that he explains it, and my brain has rejected that knowledge.
So you can't explain it to me because it just kind of like it like missed you the way a joke does to some people, just like bounced off your head and didn't stick.
Imagine watching a hobo take a shit on the road in front of you and you just want to pretend it didn't happen.
So it was too dumb for it to actually make an indent.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot in the book that did leave an impression on me, but that's not one of them. Now, speaking of the book, now Mike and Dusty have both had to share a house with me as I've been researching this, and I'm gonna be honest, I do not envy them. This has been rough for you guys.
So it's not a secret. I both live and work with you. Yes. I've heard a lot of. I've tried to tune a lot of it out because for my own sanity.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of side channel chatter about this stuff.
Yeah.
And look, the fact that he causes you logical lockups just screams to me, don't even try to understand it. Just let it pass.
Yeah, just let it wash over you. But like, and the other thing is, this is just the first book, The 12th Planet. I didn't even try to read the other ones. It is an ill-conceived and poorly arranged affair full of assumptions and poor translations and the hottest of takes.
Hot takes before they're even hot takes.
But that's what we do here at Supernatural Selection. We put ourselves through hell, and what do we do it for? The lulls.
Yeah.
So listening to all this, like, for you to rail against something like this, it has to be particularly bad because you are the Fox Mulder of our little organization here.
Yes. Yeah.
Only without the sex addiction, though, I think.
I'm on medication that kind of kills that, so I'm good.
So between, David and Kevin, I don't know who the most want to believe is.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm the middle ground here.
Yeah, David is like our hybrid bastard love child.
So he's between. All right. So Kevin is if there was a true believer of the podcast, it's Kevin.
Me. Yeah.
And the fact that you're just bouncing hard off of this says something.
Yeah. I can't eat. The people I work with are so glad I'm done with this book. So
yeah, you talk their ear off.
Oh,
you talk to me about it, and I'll just pull out my phone and just start scrolling because it's like yeah, whatever.
I don't envy Jacob. Jacob just listened.
I'm just picturing Mike in his room, and you hear like a Bob Odenkirk, God damn it, in the background from the living room.
Seriously, this fucking happened. Like, I would put my face in my hands, and Dusty would be like, "You're reading it again, aren't you?"
I will admit it took me a second who you're referring to.
Oh, with Dusty?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Dusty Page is my fiance.
Yeah, I gathered that after a minute.
Yes. Okay, now, here's the thing. Instead of trying to tackle this book chapter by chapter, because it's not in any form of order or logical sense.
The chapters don't really help, do they?
No. I mean, it's kind of like trying to read Behold a Pale Horse, where you have to start on chapter 10, then go back to chapter 2.
So in the few writing classes I've taken, usually they tell you, about structure and order. I'm taking it he didn't really apply that at all.
What he applied is, and this.
So paragraphs are just willy-nilly.
Chapters are willy-nilly, not paragraphs.
The whole book is just willy-nilly.
It's just like a dartboard of facts.
So you say
it's like a Kids in the Hall sketch.
It is. It's, oh my God, it's like a Monty Python episode.
Yes, and.
Now, again, instead of trying to tackle it chapter by chapter, I'm going to try to construct a sort of a timeline that covers this theory from the beginning of the solar system to the dawn of modern civilization. Now, you heard me. Fucking deal with it.
Bitchin Bout Sitchin.
There's our title.
So a span of about 13.3 billion years.
Yes.
Or, 500 days, depending on what he believes in.
Oh, no. It's the great thing. He believes in, the long time span.
Okay.
So it gets long. Now, another thing I need to note before we really get going here that is vitally important. to the understanding of his logic. Sitchin finds it extremely important for all of this to either fit with the Bible or to have in some way inspired the Bible. There's a lot of mental gymnastics happening here, so bear that in mind. Bear in mind that this guy does have an agenda.
So his logic is very Pretzulian.
It's very... This is a Jewish fella that did not give up being Jewish, even though the aliens made us.
So by Bible, you mean Old Testament, not New Testament.
Yes. Yeah, but he says Bible in the book.
Yeah,
but he does mean the Old Testament.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
There is a distinction there.
Yes. All right. Now let's truly get started. Now that I've laid all that shit down, so. We're going to begin with the beginning of the solar system, and I will begin this the only way you can. In the beginning, says Sitchin, there was the sun formed and its accretion disk. I was very proud of him bringing up an accretion disk. Mm-hmm. Now, the first planets formed were Mars, Venus, and Mercury, in that order.
Where did you get this information from?
We're going to go over that, actually. All right? You're gonna love this, Mike, I promise. Okay. After this, another planet formed after Mars in order. That's right. The planet Tiamat. Right after Mars and right before where Jupiter would be.
So it's a Godzilla villain.
No.
It's a Final Fantasy summon, isn't it?
Yes, but it's also a Sumerian goddess. So, and of course, not Earth. Now, where's Earth? We're going to get to that. Mike, you're going to absolutely fucking love this, I promise. After that, were formed Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Pluto was a moon of Neptune.
I looked it up. Tiamat was also a Godzilla villain.
Okay. Wow, you're like really on about this Godzilla
thing. I'm just saying, that's the first thing that popped in my head when he said Tiamat. I was like, that's a Godzilla opponent.
All right, that's fair. David, you should have known that one, right?
I know, but I also, the first thing that popped into my mind was Final Fantasy.
Okay, that's also fair. Now, again, Pluto is a moon of Neptune. Didn't count toward the planet count.
Or Pluto.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Now, I do find it interesting that in this, all of this, he never mentions Pluto's moon. Mike, I'm going to ask you, when did they discover Charon?
I don't know, but I'm sure it's after Pluto, which was, what, the 1950s?
Pluto was discovered in the 30s because Lovecraft wrote about it. Did they discover Charon after 76?
I don't know.
Okay. You know what? Let's just go with yes. Yes, it was. Because that way, this whole theory completely works. And
it was discovered in 1978.
Hell yeah. Thank you, David. Awesome. Okay, so that's why he didn't mention Charon. Great. So, everything in this new solar system was cool and groovy for a while until a passing planet was snared by the sun's gravity. Way the fuck out there, we gained the planet Nibiru.
Oh, shit.
Or Marduk. But for the interest of sanity, we're going to stick with Nibiru because Zechariah Sitchin uses both names interchangeably, and let me tell you, there was a lot of backtracking trying to figure out what the fuck he was talking about sometimes. He did that a lot with Tiamat, too. He referred to it by like 7 or 8 different fucking names.
Yeah, that's kind of a faux pas in writing, isn't it?
Yes,
you want to be clear and concise, not vague.
He uses Sumerian names, Babylonian names, Akkadian names, just interchangeably, whatever. Now, Nibiru's orbit was erratic because it was being roped in from the outside, so instead of just staying out in the Oort cloud, it came screaming through the solar system toward the inner planets.
Nibiru, more like a Subaru going 90 through a suburban neighborhood.
Man, there are so many dead kids outside of the fucking school because of this thing. Just bodies flying everywhere. Little Billy, no! Okay, so its passing causes Pluto to rip away from Neptune and gave it its erratic orbit around the sun, which crosses the orbit of Neptune. You know, because Pluto's got that weird-ass orbit. Now, I can't wait to hear Mike's response to this. Passing by Saturn caused 4 moons to rip off of Nibiru that would stay with it as it came on through.
That checks out.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Yeah, no, this is all scientifically viable. Now, Nibiru comes barreling in toward Tiamat without hitting any of the other planets because mistakes into miracles, I guess? Can you guess where this is going?
No.
That's right. A moon hit Tiamat and split it into 2 parts.
Wait, what?
Yep. And Nibiru looped around the sun again. And then when it came back through, one of its other moons pushed half of Tiamat into a new orbit where it became the Earth. And a second moon of Nibiru became our moon. Then, the third moon of Nibiru hit the remaining half of Tiamat and turned it into the asteroid belt.
It's like if Rube Goldberg designed planetary systems. I just hear the breakfast machine from Pee-wee's Big Adventure playing in the background.
Yeah. I can see Mike over there. And, do you remember Chekhov when they put the ear things in him in Wrath of Khan? That's what Mike looks like right now.
I mean...
Mike.
What?
I know you're asking yourself, Kevin, where did Zechariah Sitchin get this information?
I mean, that's a lot of detailed information that, centuries of astronomical study haven't even come close to formulating.
Oh, I know. But Sitchin's readings of all available Babylonian texts, which of course he knows how to read because he's one of like 4 people in the world that knows how to read cuneiform and all this shit flawlessly.
Of course he does.
His readings of all available Babylonian texts lead him to believe that this is all based on Sumerian texts and seals, which were told to them by the gods of Sumer. And they detail the battles of the old gods who gave birth to the Sumerian gods. And
so
the old gods, it's just a metaphor for the formation of the solar system. Now, okay, before we move on, Mike, what else have you got to say?
I don't like this Boys of Sumer thing.
Oh, God.
It's a hot boy Sumer.
Oh.
I mean...
It's a cruel Sumer. I'm glad I got one in there.
Sumer lovin' happened so fast.
Oh, God. In the Sumer time. We're going to hell for this.
I got nothing.
Okay.
I'm just dead.
Okay, do you understand? Now imagine trying to put all this down into some semblance of order after having read this shit, Mike.
Kevin.
Yeah?
You know you're not long for this world.
I want people to understand the shit I go through for this show.
You have shortened your lifespan.
Oh, I know. I know.
You're going to have an aneurysm by the age of 53.
I know.
Well, here's the thing. Sumer doesn't last forever.
Oh, shush. Oh, my God. Okay, now, again, you're probably wondering...
Where's the Sumer lovin'?
Who were these Sumerian gods? I'm so glad you asked.
Nobody.
Let's talk about the Nephilim and the Anunakki.
Oh God, the Anunnaki. I've heard this a lot in the last month.
Oh yeah. So far out in space, a race called the Nephilim lived on the world of Nibiru. They were a long-lived race of beings because one of their years lasted 3,600 of our years. So naturally, life evolved so you'd live through a full rotation of the sun.
That's not how it works at all.
No.
Come on, David. Every living being on Earth, their lifespan is governed by the number of rotations of the Earth around the sun we can do. Like, everything lives about 60 to 100 rotations of the sun, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fruit flies.
Fruit flies, roaches.
Frogs. People.
Algae.
Yeah.
Armpit funk.
Everything that evolved
horses.
on Earth has a set time on Earth that is determined by
unwatered house plants.
I'm so irritated right now.
That's how I feel. This is like I've had pre-warning and cushioning,
and it still is doing no good.
No, I've had time to come terms with this is batshit stupid.
Yeah. So the Nephilim were ruled by the great god Anu, which not really a god, he's an alien, but whatever. The great Anu and his council of 12 main children, the Anunakki, which I am convinced is Anunakki, probably like the children of Anu or something. I don't know. I'm not an expert. So much of the Sumerian theology involves their genealogy and personal dramas. So a lot of their comings and goings were mapped out and detailed, and they really resemble the Greek pantheon in more ways than you can count. In fact, Sitchin actually says that the Sumerian gods are the basis of all theology.
So it's the Eternals from Marvel Studios.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And that's why he says there's always like 12 main gods. I'm like, you didn't count well. So, this is... yeah. Now, on their various loops through the solar system, the Anunnaki had the chance to study the planets as they passed by. And they had determined that Earth was the most hospitable to life and just full of resources, specifically gold. And this is this is important.
Why is it always gold?
I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you a chance later to talk about this, Mike. Now, the gold is specifically important because of what's about to happen to Nibiru.
It sounds to me like they would be the types to write about the gold standard in the 1970s.
I swear to God, these guys...
They'd have a newsletter.
Yep. Audio newsletter. They're complaining about the Centauri robotoids.
Fort Knox is running out of gold.
I love gold.
Gold. All right. So... about 450,000 years ago in the outer reaches of the solar system, something happened to damage Nibiru's atmosphere. Now, do you know what that disaster was?
Farts.
I have no idea because I'm not paying $20 for another one of these fucking ebooks.
Just Joe's Taco Tuesday and just the farts killed it off.
Sure, why not?
Maybe it was a Spaceball situation.
Maybe there's Perrier. I don't know. I just know it took me 2 years to read this fucking book, and I'm not paying $20 for another one that's going to take me another 2 years. So,
but the clicks, Kevin. The clicks.
God damn it, Mike. I don't care about the clicks.
Premium content.
God damn it. Don't make me do this. Now
you could just read it as Patreon episodes. Just read a chapter.
That's not a bad idea. Now, what I can tell you is that this disaster was going to be completely fatal to the planet Nibiru, and there was only one solution. Gold. Gold had to be found in massive quantities, ground into a powder, and released into the atmosphere of Nibiru to save all life on the planet.
Okay.
And
they Goldschlagered the planet?
Yes, that's the plan. They're going to Goldschlager it. And what's the best place in the solar system to find gold?
The asteroids.
Yeah, Earth.
Oh, wait, what?
Earth. Now, Mike, what might cause them to need gold in their atmosphere? And please tell everyone how rare gold is in space and how they'd have to come to Earth to find gold.
So gold has some pretty interesting properties. Not to sell short gold.
Right.
Gold is probably the most stable element in the universe.
Okay.
It reacts with almost nothing. Mm-hmm. It takes a very specific formulation of acids to even dissolve gold.
Now, it does conduct electricity.
It conducts electricity very well.
It blocks radiation, right?
I mean, yes, because this molecular density is really high.
Right.
But gold doesn't react with jack shit. I mean, that's one of its properties. That's why it doesn't. That's why it's so lustrous and doesn't tarnish. Is because it doesn't oxidize. It doesn't. You could put just about anything on it, and it's not going to react.
So you're saying
sprinkling gold into your atmosphere
will block radiation.
Well, I mean, it would, but it wouldn't clean the atmosphere because it's not a catalyst. It doesn't react with anything.
So what you're telling me is that it's the gold standard then?
Yes.
God. Oh.
But so wanting just yes, you could build a shield of gold out, to protect you from radiation, but the fact that they said something is wrong with their atmosphere and they needed gold to fix it lets me think that the gold would have to react with something,
which is nothing.
Which, yeah, I mean, unless their atmosphere is saturated with aqua regia, it's not going to do anything.
Okay.
This just sounds like a bad arc in a Thor comic.
I mean, it always comes back to them wanting, the aliens wanting gold for nebulous reasons. Also you asked, is Earth the best place to find gold? Absolutely not.
Right.
Earth, most of the gold, so Earth does have a lot of gold, way more gold than, if we could ever unlock all the gold in Earth, it would make gold the least valuable thing ever.
Right.
But most of it is locked away in the mantle. Mm-hmm. So we're not getting to that anytime soon.
That is below the crust.
Yes.
Right.
It's basically
upper mantle, right?
It's mixed in with all the fucking lava down there.
Okay, awesome. So they decided to take the most
So they came here to just enslave and get all the surface gold?
Enslave what? There's no life.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, come down here and get all our, just surface level gold.
Sure.
When there's, probably
now
asteroids
he does actually mention that some of the Anunnaki were panning for gold in rivers, and I just picture them watching that gold fever show my dad used to watch.
An Anunnaki claim jumper.
Yes, exactly. They're all 49ers. So
do you know how most gold is obtained nowadays?
Dynamite?
No. So pretty much all of the
Science Corner kids
flakes, actual big bits of gold that can be found have been found on Earth.
Right.
I mean, we're not even talking about mines of gold. What they're doing now is digging up dirt that is higher than average gold bearing, laying it in large leach fields and dripping acid on it, the aqua regia acid on it, to dissolve the gold out of the soil or the mineral bearing rocks, and then they take that liquid and refine it. Okay. So we're not even talking about gold nuggets anymore. We're talking about
flakes
higher than the average of gold, in rocks. They crush the rocks up first, of course.
Okay, let me tell you why we're doing that, because the Anunnaki got all of the good stuff. So just giant, boulders of gold around before they got here? Probably so.
Oh,
it was like a fucking Scrooge McDuck comic. So,
cool.
As Nibiru once again neared Earth, Anu sent his children, led by his son Enki, to Earth.
The clown?
Enki or Inkai, I don't know, but I say Enki, and yes, Enki the clown. Very funny. I'm gonna say
Enki as well, because it reminds me of that Enkidu, the deity Enkidu,
yes, Enkidu. Yeah, he actually mentions Enkidu in the book somewhere.
Yeah, he's just borrowing from all sorts of mythology here at this point.
Dude, he fucking leans on the Epic of Gilgamesh so hard they're gonna have to reinforce it.
Laika-tu? The Mario Brothers villain?
No. My God. So, anyway, he sends his son Enki to Earth to begin his mining operations. Not just for gold, of course. They're going to also need raw materials to build the facilities they'll need to mine the gold and rocket fuel. Vast, just oil fields, just with it up on the surface.
Okay.
So, now this expedition would leave about 100 of the Anunnaki on an orbiting platform would send nearly 600 to the surface. Now, this first group, led by Enki, would splash down in the Indian Ocean.
Hey.
Yeah?
Where's the orbiting platform, Zechariah?
Actually, it went back home.
He actually wrote that?
Yeah, he actually covers it when we leave.
Excuse.
Oh, I know. Now, this is important. Once making landfall, command of the Earth mission was handed over from Enki to Enlil, Enki's brother. Now, this would drive a wedge between them for all time. Enki would be given a lesser but still important command over the oceans that would fuel jealousy in him for the rest of their near immortal lives.
So Enki's the Frito?
What?
Is he the Frito, Corleone?
Yes.
You've seen The Godfather, yes?
It's been a very valuable... Honestly, I haven't seen it since I was a child.
Oh, no!
Yeah,
okay,
I had a weird childhood.
my reference landed with a wet fart.
Well,
so.
That's okay. Somebody out there got it. And that's the important thing. Someone got it. So, the first order of business, of course, was establishing cities/command bases. Now, these included a spaceport for their 1960s-style 3-stage rockets, a medical center, communication center, and bases for processing ore and building machines and tools. Now, these would be the original cities of mankind, like the city of Ur. Now, you're probably wondering again where all this information comes from.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
among other things.
Sitchin cites his sources.
Oh, boy.
It's his opinion that most of the cuneiform tablets we have been mistranslated by the most learned men who have ever lived. But that's okay, because he's here to explain the situation.
So, also, let me get this straight. All this infrastructure they had, they didn't, misplace a single bit of it.
We're going to go into that. We're going to go into where that shit is now.
Okay.
Okay, trust me. We're going to get there. And Sitchin's going to explain the situation.
The Sitchination, as we call it around here.
Sure. Now, let's talk about a word that really stuck with me when I read this book. Let's take the word Shem. All right. Shem in most text is typically translated as name or renown. Now, this honestly and realistically might not be correct. It more accurately translates in most instances as something along the lines of a connection between the earth and the heavens. Now, the most famous example of this is the story of the Tower of Babel. The text in the Bible says, "Let us build for ourselves a name," where the word Shem is used in the original text. Now, it would more closely translate to, "Let us make for ourselves a temple or a connection to heaven that will reach the sky." Now, another is the giants of the Old Testament, and it's saying that they were men of Shem, translated to men of renown here. In this case, it will probably more accurately translate to men who had the power or a connection to the heavens. Now, even Gilgamesh says, "Let me raise my name," which in the text is Shem. This probably means let me travel to the heavens, because he's trying to find his ancestor, who we will talk about later. And also he was a demigod, so, he had the right. Now, I'm not an expert, so don't quote me on any of this stuff. it's as accurate as I could get.
Now, I wonder what Zechariah Sitchin's thoughts were on Ed Nasir. I'm sure the gold was quality, but what of his copper?
Yes. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the earliest things we found. It was a man, is basically a Yelp review.
Yes. I love that thing so much.
Yes, it was a Yelp review of the quality of someone's copper, written in cuneiform. One of the first things we ever discovered. It's like, wow, people been bitching a long time. So
no, it turns out it was a missive of the gods that said, some other shit. We don't know.
Now, Sitchin has a much more interesting interpretation of the word shim.
It means a thing that you wedge between other things.
If you put a P on the end, it's one of the Three Stooges. But if it's a connection to heaven, then it's a connection to Nibiru, which obviously means a rocket ship, like straight up Apollo rocket ship. He believes that the story of the Tower of Babel was actually about humanity building a rocket in ancient Mesopotamia and the Anunakki punishing them. So anyway, all this is to just say that where the ancient text talks about the Anunnaki building temples, what it's actually meaning is building rockets at the spaceport.
So the rocket ship stuff absolutely kills me because it's such a weird hill to die on technologically. Like, if you're trying to attribute a higher intelligence, like, it's weird that a higher intelligence must fundamentally resemble humanity down to our technology. It's just astounding to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, you couldn't even go Star Trek with that shit and think ahead. It was just literally just like, what did they launch last week?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, at least UFOs, have the whole
zibba weird kind of
anti-gravity thing going. Mm-hmm. But rocket ships, that entails like a not insignificant amount of chemicals, depending on what their fuel is, and it also says advanced metallurgy, which you can't make a rocket out of stone.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about, Project Orion and, nuclear pulse thrust.
They could on the Flintstones.
No, what they were talking about. Wait, David.
I think there was a space shuttle episode of the Flintstones or something.
What the fuck?
I love Flintstones technology. It's a living.
I'm sorry. This whole sticking with 60s technology thing reminds me of in Scientology, where the ships that Xenu put the souls in and crashed them into the volcano look like 747s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's get to humanity. All right. Because we haven't talked about humanity yet, have we?
Not really.
Yeah, let's learn about us.
Okay. So
we're all human here, right?
Sure. Sure we are. So, once established, the Anunnaki began genetic experiments and bringing forth plants that they could use for food and what have you. Like wheat and shit like that. And some of it was just like, we're going to farm it. They also fuck. Like, a lot. I mean, like, most of the stories about the soap opera that is the royal family of 12 and how they're all fucking. Say what you will about the ancients, but we have not changed that much as a species, all right?
Sounds like one of their plants was horny goatweed.
Yes. And again, they're all related, but they're fucking.
How Greek.
Yes, very much so. So things are going swimmingly for a long time until the worker caste of Anunnaki, which Sitchin calls, and I love this, the rank and file gods, which is just like, what the fuck, man? Anyway, up until these guys revolted, they'd had more than enough of their backbreaking labor in the dangerous gold mines. So they surrounded Enlil's house in the swamps and decided it was time for war, a war for freedom.
Why would an alien god live in a swamp?
He thought it was cool. I'm not joking. He just really liked the swamp.
So he was emo.
He was so... the bad thing is, he said he lived in the swamp. I just picture, like, you know, the great god Kermit the Frog building a giant fucking stone temple in the middle of a swamp, and then, like, all the Fozzie Bear workers revolting.
Could be Shrek and Donkey.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Get out of my swamp! So, things have gotten so bad with this war situation that Big Daddy Anu has to come down to Earth.
And he's not happy because he got woken up from his nap.
Oh, you're goddamn right. He was so moved by the plight of the rank and file gods. He had Enlil go out and meet with the leaders, and even Enlil, once he heard their story, was moved to help them. So what did he do? Now, the Anunnaki had seen these monkey guys running around, right? Mm-hmm. What we call Homo erectus. And they decided to combine their godly genes with those of the natives. Apparently, they used in vitro fertilization and brought to term, and the first one was brought to term in Enlil's wife, Ninlil. She gave birth to the first human, the first Homo sapien, and this first being was called the Adama. Needless to say, Sitchin loses his shit here over proof that the Bible was right and based on ancient Sumerian texts. He says the Adama was shortened to the Adam and then just Adam.
Because of course he does. He's the one making this shit up.
Right.
Now, here's my question. Like,
okay.
The impression that I got from all of this was that the Anunnaki created the life on Earth. So how were there Homo erectus moving around?
Well, you got to understand, there were Homo erectus running around because they had made life, and then the Homo erectus were running around out there. And
so it's just like a happy little accident then.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, well, we made life, and then we let it do whatever.
I think he's just making this up. I don't know. That's what my gut's telling me.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm starting to become I can't say that with a straight face. I mean,
Adama, Adam, Colonel Adama on Battlestar Galactica,
well,
and all fits.
Actually, that is where he got this from.
God damn it.
Let's not forget that he based Glenn Larson based Battlestar Galactica on the ancient astronauts theory.
And also the Mormon faith.
And Mormons, yes. Because he was Mormon.
It's a weird fucking show, but I love it.
Yes, absolutely. So, this is also where Sitchin points out that let us make man in our own image and he will become like us, are from them editing down a full pantheon of gods into one god. And don't get me started on his Bible quotes either. He goes on and on, replacing God with the deity's name with rocket ship and just shoving sci-fi terms into the Bible there willy-nilly.
Now, who is they when he talks about that they edit it down?
Oh, you know, the Jews.
The Cabal.
Oh, no.
The Cabal.
It's the Jews, but not in a bad way, not in an anti-Semitic way. He is Jewish.
So Kevin, the burning bush was antimatter?
Fuck it, why not?
Sure. Let's go with that. No, it's him. It's probably the bush was on fire from a rocket ship and there was a god hiding behind it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, so I'm not going to lie. There is something about the idea of us being made from, like, divine alien DNA that's sort of poetic and fitting to me, but this is incredibly stupid.
I mean, it's kind of better than just, you know, dumb monkeys that became less dumb monkeys.
Sure.
I mean, it's a common pop culture thing. It's fun. Like, you have that with, even the Eternals, with them being created by the Celestials and all that, so...
Yeah, exactly. So, at this point, man is being mass-produced. And
yeah, we are.
They're basically... oh, that's terrible. So they're basically recreating the Adama's genes and putting them into various birth goddesses. And then as they're spit out of these birth goddesses, which are just surrogate mothers, they're put right to work in the fucking mines.
Is that how you get a Jesus?
No. think. He never gets to Jesus because he's Jewish.
Fair enough.
But that's not how this ends, though. Oh, no. We could end with humanity, but no. We're not going to end there. We haven't gotten to Noah yet. All right. So again, let's talk about the Great Flood. And things are going swimmingly until one of these early humans figures out that if you put your pee-pee in a down there, it's fun and eventually makes a tiny person. And that's when all hell breaks loose because holy shit do we love to fuck.
Now, I expect to be paid if you're going to start using the words pee-pee and down there in this podcast from here on out.
I can pay you in thank dollars.
What about exposure? I'm going to pay him an exposure.
Oh, he's already being paid in exposure.
Yeah, exposing pee-pee.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey. So this is where Sitchin equates our discovery of Zug to Adam and Eve eating the apple in the Garden of Eden. The apple represents our loss of innocence and, in the biblical sense, hardcore. So, yeah, he makes a lot of comparisons between we learned to fuck. Now, it's at this point that Enlil starts getting pissed. And I'm not talking about because humans are fucking in general, because, you know, him and the Anunnaki are just horny as hell all the time. It's because we start fucking animals.
Wait, what?
Yeah. See, this seems to be a recurring theme in a lot of esoteric fall of man stories. A lot of your stories like Atlantis and Lemuria, depending on who you're trying to sell, who's trying to sell you crystals. Lemuria or Atlantis fell once humans started screwing around literally with dinosaurs.
You can find plenty of examples of that today on DeviantArt.com.
God damn
it. Dinosaurs?
Oh, yeah, no. Like, esoteric stuff, they say that, yeah.
Like a freaking, T-Rex? I'm not going to try to fuck a T-Rex.
No, I want you to picture, basically, Atlanteans screwing, like...
Velociraptors.
Diplodocus.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Ankylosaurus?
Yeah.
Not like dinosaurs.
Nope. Stegosauri.
Just
look out for the Thagomizer.
I mean, at that point, I'm like looking at that and going, well, maybe the Welsh have it right and just shag a sheep.
It'd be safer.
It'd be way safer.
Way safer than fucking a dinosaur for sure. Now we do.
If you're a Welsh listener, we apologize for that.
And also, we do not condone the fucking of animals. All right, we're just gonna say that. Don't fuck the animal
unless they're asking for it,
dude. You gotta get us in trouble.
Whatever you do, don't go to e621.com.
Shut up! Don't tell them about that. Oh my god, dude, you're gonna get us killed. Somebody's parents are gonna find him doing that, and then we're fucked. Now, while Enlil is enraged by this and sees it as humanity rejecting its divine origin in favor of its animal instincts, what really upsets him is just how loud we fuck.
So, wait. So it's not that we are fucking dinosaurs. It's just that we're noisy about it.
Well, it's that we're fucking animals and rejecting our divine nature, but it's also that we're doing it so loudly. It's both, but it's really the loudness.
So it's like when your roommate, I mean, I'm pulling from way past experience, is not only like, being a jerk, but also when they're, bringing home their slam piece and just fucking like really loud, like so loud I have to put headphones on.
Did you just refer to the person I think you're referring to as a slam piece?
No, this, like I said, this is from like before we lived together.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about at the house on...
No, is the apartment.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're trying to listen to or to watch Skinamax without your parents knowing.
So So it's like when the roommate doesn't do dishes and then they're also like doing some other shit to piss you. So it's just a combination of things.
Yeah. But then it's the loud fucking that really did it.
That's the straw that broke the Anunakki's back.
Yes. And in the ancient texts even, it talks about how loud we were while screwing anything not nailed down. And how Enlil couldn't sleep because of our noisy lovemaking. And, in all fairness, I could see getting pissed about losing sleep because the guy next door just won't stop fucking a donkey.
Well, you live in Mississippi, so that sounds like it could be one of your neighbors.
It was a chicken.
Like I said, they just when it sounds like he's murdering the lady friend he brought home.
God damn it!
It's not a good time, and I didn't have internet, so I didn't, or cable, so I just had to put on headphones and listen to music.
I just picture you sitting in bed in a fetal position, rocking back and forth. Oh, gray mare just ain't what you used to be.
No, I wasn't in bed. It was 10 a.m.
What the?
Yeah.
What? Never mind. So, all right. Damn. As it happens, Nibiru is on approach again, and its closeness this time is going to cause a calamity that could cause global flooding and wipe out all life on Earth. Now, Enlil doesn't so much decide to destroy humanity, so much as just let nature do its thing.
So he just stopped giving a shit.
Mm-hmm. He had a lot going on.
He did.
He decided, to just let whatever's happening happen. Much like capitalism and global warming.
Now, its approach has already caused a massive drought, and the population of humans is starving. So, you want water, he thinks? Fine, I'll give you fucking water. Meanwhile, they plan to launch back into space and wait out the flood. And then come back down when everything dries out.
Sounds like our future when Musk and Bezos get on their little rocket ship and wait for the climate catastrophe and come back later.
Yep, pretty much. Now, the only one of the Anunnaki that disagrees with this is Enki. Partly because he's grown to care for humanity and sees our potential. Partly...
He likes the donkey pussy.
No. God damn, fuck. Partly because he knows they need us. But mostly as a big middle finger to Enlil for getting the shaft 400,000 years ago.
So he's kind of like one of those dads who's like, we're not getting a dog, and then adopts a dog and they become best friends.
Exactly. Now, at the grand meeting of the gods about this, Enlil has all of the Anunnaki vow not to tell any humans about the coming flood. So they'll just be chilling out and then die. Enki makes this vow with the others. Now, what Enki does not do is vow not to talk to a wall about it where his high priest Unapishtim can hear it. He also didn't vow to not tell that wall to make a giant fucking boat and fill it with enough life to start everything over again.
Loophole.
So, after hearing this, Unapishtim takes this information and starts building an ark. Now, the locals in town are a little suspicious that he's building a giant boat. And they're like, what are you doing? And he tells them that since he works for Enki, if he leaves, then the great god Enlil will bring the water back. And technically, he's not lying.
What's he building in there?
It's a fucking Tom Waits song. So the locals think this is a great idea and actually start helping him to build this thing.
Now, see, if I had a neighbor who just started building a fucking Titanic in their backyard, I would be a little concerned as well. I'd be like, what does he know?
Yeah.
He knows something I obviously don't know.
Exactly. But he had an excuse. So the boat gets built, animals and plants are loaded, and then Unapishtim brings all the people that helped him build the boat along with his family into the boat. which I think is a really cool thing he does, as opposed to the version of this with Noah in the Bible where it's like, fuck all of y'all. So, he was told, wait for a sign when there's a bright light to the west and a loud noise. So, when he sees the Anunnaki launch their rockets from the spaceport, he goes into the ark and shuts the door. Now, from here, it is exactly the same as the story of Noah and the ark. I mean, right down to him coming out and making a burnt offering to the gods. And I mean, like, he even uses the same birds to send out to find land. They even land on Mount Ararat.
And then the problem begins anew.
Of course it does. But this, again, is interesting to me. I think we should do an episode about the Great Flood around the world. Because I think that would be a great thing to cover, because every culture's got it. Mm-hmm. Chinese, Native Americans, everybody. So, now, while all this is going on, things are not going well on the rocket ships. Mike, you're going to love this. The Anunnaki have run out of food, and they aren't bathing. The whole fucking place smells like a boiled football.
That does sound rough.
Uh-huh.
Well, why do you think he would like this?
I just, because the gods fucking ran out of food, quit bathing, and they're all sitting there.
And they must be crazy.
Yes. Oh, God damn. And then they throw a Coke bottle out. And, oh, God. So, worst of all with this is some of the gods are really starting to miss their home of the last 400,000 years and their servants. Now, the goddess Ishtar in particular laments the loss of their luxuries. Now, once the ship lands, which I don't know why it lands and doesn't splash down like it did before, but, whatever, they find that Utnapishtim has saved the world and is doing a barbecue in their honor. The big burnt offering? They're saying it wasn't a burnt offering. He was cooking food for them when they landed. And they're all ecstatic about this, except for Enlil. And at this point, I'm not going to lie, Enlil kind of reminds me of Pharaoh in the Bible with his hard-headedness and unwillingness to back down.
Like, I do appreciate that these gods are so petty. Like, I think Sitchin does a good job here painting them as similar to, like, gods in our historical records, such as the Greek pantheon and that sort of thing.
Yeah, same here. And I think a big part of that is because so many of the ancient pantheons, the gods are really just, like, immortal humans with the same drives and everything. Mm-hmm. All right, so Enlil is just straight up like, kill that motherfucker! And Enki talks to him as like, look at this man that stayed true to us, and he managed to figure out there's a flood coming with no help from me at all. Truly, the best of mankind is here, and we can start again. And Enlil thinks about it, and he's hungry, and he relents and realizes that, yeah, you know what? This guy's cool. This is a good boat. I like this boat. He's so cool, in fact, that Enlil decides that when he leaves Earth for the last time, he's going to take Utnapishtim with him, help him become immortal, and let him live his life in the courts of Anu on Nibiru. Now, after the world has dried out, all of the original cities have been destroyed, so they are rebuilt according to the original plans, with instructions left by the Anunnaki that if the cities are destroyed, you will rebuild them according to the original plans, using whatever materials you have in case we come back. Now, to make things easier when dealing with humans, the Anunnaki appoint rulers over the people of Earth. They give them the divine right to rule. The first kings are selected to carry out the commands of their gods and given the symbols of leadership we still know today: the crown, the scepter, and the throne.
Oh, they stuck us with the global elite.
Yes, the lizard people. technically that is like a whole other conspiracy theory that's been tied into this, and maybe I'll go into that when I do a lizard people episode. But they pass on the concepts of civilization and morality to their children's species. They teach them farming and animal domestication. They teach them science, math, and astronomy. Astronomy in particular, so that they can know where Nibiru is at any given time and when it will come again. Now, after the Anunnaki's mission is complete and they have enough gold to save their atmosphere, they leave Earth. With the kings they appointed to guide humanity in their ways still here. And that leaves us here now. And apparently Nibiru is a few hundred years out from its next visit, so that's exciting.
Can't wait.
I know, Mike, are you excited?
Sure, why wouldn't I be?
Yeah. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about this book, and Zechariah Sitchin in general, is this. This first book, The 12th Planet, ends asking a question. It's a good question. And it's one that in no way gets answered at any point in the book or future books at all. It lays there like a cold, dead fish slammed on a cutting board and left there by a chef who realized he doesn't know how to cook fish. And that's a damn shame, because this is the sequel I would have read. If the Anunnaki made us, then who made the Anunnaki?
We did. It's all
Technically,
circular.
yeah. This is like the literary equivalent of the title card that reads the end and then a question mark fades in.
It's like the end of fucking Masters of the Universe, the movie, when Frank Langella Skeletor pops out of the water and goes, "I'll be back." And they never were. So that's it. That's the Anunnaki. That's Zechariah Sitchin.
This episode had everything. Specifically sex with animals.
It did have sex with animals. So that's... Oh, God, man. I cannot tell you how glad I am to be fucking done with this.
It probably clears a lot off your slate.
Seriously, I feel like a weight's been lifted off my mind and body now that we've finally done the episode.
It's like when you take that big old shit you've been holding for a while, it just hasn't come out.
Yeah.
And finally you cleanse yourself of it, and you feel like 20 pounds lighter.
Yeah, but you're also worn out because it feels like a fist punching its way out of your asshole from the inside.
You're gross. You have to take a shower.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, this is disgusting. Let's go back to talking about sex with animals.
Yes. Let's talk about donkey fucking.
Dino fucking.
Add that we need to do Atlantis and Lemuria. We need to do a Lost Continents episode.
By do Atlantis, you mean...
dinosaurs.
And fucking.
Oh, God. I'm just glad it's over, and I did so much fucking research on this, and I hope it shows.
Yeah, you did a great job, my friend.
That was a lot of words.
Thank you.
A lot of very, what would you call that?
Word salad.
Psyche damaging words.
I'm not the same man that started that
Sanity
book.
Dinging and destroying.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike? Are you a believer now?
I'm a believer in that. That was a lot of stuff that I'm glad I don't have to hear again.
I'm glad I don't have to read it or talk about it.
So part 2 will be up.
Fuck you. Fuck you. There is no part 2. So, that being said, we've got some questions, guys.
Questions?
We've got questions from the listeners. You guys want to go over some questions?
Might as well.
For it.
What else are we going to do?
Yeah. Other than live normal lives. So.
Fuck that.
Yeah. All right. First question from Ghost Forge. How much about the ancient gods do you think was just aliens doing a sex tourism vacation?
I mean,
all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it.
I'm going to go all of it.
I mean, white people in general have, been guilty of that, so I can't see why aliens wouldn't also, I mean, if aliens were real, I mean, obviously that's predicated on that.
Okay, if spacefaring aliens in our ancient past were real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they would, come down and shag us because, we're dumb, peasants that don't know any better.
We're soft and pink and squishy.
We would do it. I mean, they'd have to, bathe us because, we smelled.
Gotta get the man stink off of us.
But, otherwise we'd do anything for a shiny rock.
Pretty much. David, how about you?
I just think Zizmar would be upset I don't have 2 cloacas.
Oh, man. Zizmar...
Yeah, it depends on physiology, I guess.
Well, I kind of feel like it depends on if Zizmar is paying me. I could pretend I've got a couple of cloacas.
Shiny rocks.
Oh, baby, I'll have all the cloacas you need.
Baby, you just don't know.
And, just, fake the extra cloacas.
just strap a couple of female-based Merlades to your bottom.
See, we call this cloaca the belly button.
Yes. Yeah. Use your smaller proboscis on that one. So we got a question from Dusty, which relates to the very beginning of the episode, actually. I want each host's opinion on how come every Ancient Aliens theory is inherently racist and anti-Semitic. Bonus for any ideas on how to reduce racism in ufology.
So, I think all these, theories, suppositions, fairy tales, whatever you want to call them, they're inherently rooted in the author's biases. So, if they hold certain biases...
Well, yeah.
It's obviously going to come through. I mean, it's just their worldview.
Okay, that's fair.
And as far as reducing it,
I feel like the way to reduce it would be to get more people of different ethnicities involved.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with that one.
Because, seriously, you watch an Ancient Aliens or any documentary, how many African Americans do you see?
So
it's always a white dude.
I don't know. Conspiracy theories in general seem like a very honky pursuit. I mean, in general, it just seems to be the white dudes, have to come up with some shit.
Oh, God. Now I want a show on the History Channel called The Honky Truth.
Just honky science.
Honky science.
I mean...
It's full of white guys, and they're whiter than us.
I mean, I guess the problem is that, we have to invent our own boogeymen.
I guess.
I mean, in many ways, even in not even, just conspiracy theories, we do that in general.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think there's...
I just feel like it. I also feel
I have no answers, but I just feel like that is a thing we do.
I feel like the entire field of study in ufology and the paranormal is inherently full of gatekeepers.
Well, that too.
And we need to stop that.
Well, they create their own little domains and they have to guard them.
Yep, I hate that.
The problem is that you need a legitimate organization that has rigorous academic backing, and that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Are you talking about NIDS? Because that worked out so well. Fucking Bigelow. Anyway, so that's our view on that one. Sam has a question.
Sure.
Let's see. What cryptids would like board games, and what would be each of their favorites?
I think Sasquatch is a giant nerd, so he would like Catan.
Yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. The Greys love Monopoly.
I think Operation.
No, well, okay, yeah, no, you got that one. Okay, well,
that's exactly it.
Who likes Monopoly? No one. No.
The Anunakki.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Oh, they're not cryptids, are they?
Well, no, but, I'll give it a pass. We'll say the Anunakki like Monopoly.
And then probably the Kentucky Goblins are super into Uno because they just like to collect the cards.
You know that one version of Uno where it's got the card spitter thing? It's got like the rotating thing that auto deals. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just picture the goblins with that just shooting each other with cards and giggling.
They're like our gremlins.
Yes, I know. I love them. I love those guys. Let's see here. Man in Black asks, speaking of, hello, Eric. Good to see you. Man in Black says, what do you guys feel about the newer cryptids like Slenderman and Siren Head?
I mean, calling them cryptids is kind of a stretch because they're just, obviously made up.
I know, but, there are people saying they saw them, and technically that's all cryptids. Not all cryptids, but, a lot of the cryptids we talk about are kind of made up. But, I mean, they're tulpas when you get down to it. I'm with you, though.
So traditional cryptids have a lot of, they're legends that became myth. But new cryptid, quote-unquote cryptids, have provenance. And, our technology, unfortunately, codifies their origin. So you can't say,
sure,
oh, they are just something that,
became real.
Not even became real, but became, their origins are so old we can't suss, fact from fiction.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think in time, like a Slender Man, let's say maybe a couple generations from now, Slender Man's going to be
I don't know, because the origin is still there. It's like saying,
it's gonna
the creature from the Black Lagoon becomes a cryptid.
It's going to take a collapse of society
we'd
and
have
a loss of the origins.
Well,
we'd need
unless you believe in tulpas and that sort of thing, then there's a chance that a Slender Man can become a reality through the collective will of belief.
And that's something Man in Black brought up. He said he couldn't remember the word, but it's like Freddy and Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Look. All I can say is if tulpas were real, I'd have an anime waifu by now.
Oh, God. I don't want to go there, man.
Terrifying.
Here's the thing, though, about Slender Man. It is really hard for me to cut it any kind of slack since I was participating in the thread they made him in.
I was there.
We were there, literally there for the birth of Slender Man. So it's really hard for me to take it seriously.
I'm just sad nobody brings up the spider kittens.
Oh, the spider kittens were good. It's just these cat heads with spider legs on them.
They came from the same thread as Slender Man. They never got traction that Slender Man did.
And they were creepier, honestly. Because it's like these little cat heads with spider legs, barely visible in the trees. It was creepy as fuck. So,
if you hear my cat also wants to be on the podcast. She's just kind of hanging out over here purring at me.
Oh, that's fine. We're a very cat-friendly podcast.
The All-Cat Podcast.
Now, Kick-Assatron has a question in relation to the tulpa thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are all tulpas derived from the same being taking different forms depending on a culture's beliefs?
Can you imagine if it was just one really hard-working tulpa?
Oh, God.
1 minute he's getting banged raw dogged, and then, the next minute he's some kid's imaginary friend just smoking a cigarette, I don't want to do this today.
and then immediately jumps over and has to be Bigfoot.
What if he's just late? He gets mixed up and doesn't show up for the right thing as the right thing.
That's why Bigfoot's blurry, because he's running so fast.
Oh.
But seriously, this is kind of like the whole Passport to Mangonia superstructure thing. That we're seeing the same entities over and over again, but they're wearing a different mask depending on the culture and how we can interpret them.
I think that would be a very, tolerant and benevolent being to be just, running around doing that all the time.
Yeah, but we're talking about, something bleeding over that has, a vested interest in participating in this, being a part of the phenomenon. And the question is, if it's doing this and it takes on these forms, what is it getting out of us?
Well, considering 99.9% of it is sexual, it must be a succubus.
Yeah, it's getting its back blown out.
Holy shit, dude. What the... Is this like that Superman thing, Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex?
Yeah, so is this like a single entity, multi-like form thing, so it could like manifest it as like...
No, I mean, it's like...
'cause obviously, with the number of people in the world, it would have to be manifesting as this different things at the same time.
Well, it's not just one creature; it's multiple creatures. Well, no, but they all.
I thought the question was the one thing doing,
No, he said, "Are all tulpas derived from the same?" Oh, yeah. Yeah. See? Shit, you're right.
It's the same thing. Okay. So therefore, it can like divide itself among them.
I don't really believe that. I don't think that's necessarily that's basically saying, is God an asshole and just fucking with you?
No, not an asshole, but fulfilling your desires or whatever.
I don't know, man. He shoved a thing up Whitley Strieber's butt. I'd say that's pretty asshole behavior.
It depends on your the tulpa thing. But anyway, what I was getting at is just much in the same way that everybody sitting on the toilet at the same time is connected by their butts.
God damn
Everyone
it.
having sex with these tulpas at the same time are connected by their genitals.
So what you're saying is, if you fucked
it's a
an
giant
alien,
fuck network.
If you fucked any cryptid, go get tested.
Yeah, because that shit's going around, man.
Oh my god.
I never thought of it that way, but if I'm sitting on the toilet, I am technically connected to everybody else sitting on a toilet.
You haven't heard that before? Yeah, your butts are connected.
You are part of the poly shit.
Okay, I haven't heard that one before, but that's awesome.
Well, yeah. I just made it up, so that's why you haven't heard it.
The Poly Shit Network.
Yes, you're part of the Poly Shit Network. You're all one.
We can publish a paper on this, the greater Poly Shit theory.
So yeah, there's two toilets at work, and I've always said when two people are both shitting at work, they're connected.
Basically, we share an asshole.
Yes.
Is the thing. We all share one asshole when we're shitting at once, and
it makes us human.
I wish I was dead? No. No, I just wish I hadn't heard that. But here we are. So, at some point, we do need to discuss what the paranormal entity in the superstructure theory is getting out of it once we do the superstructure episode. But
they want our jizz.
I kind of feel like they're doing it to feed off of emotion,
or that too,
or like Republicans and the theory about the adrenochrome.
Sure,
yeah. So that's all of our questions for this week. We are rounding out right at a really good time. After edits, I don't know how long it's going to be, but this has been a very good, well-paced episode. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
So we'll be back next week with a Weekend Weird. David, you got anything you want to share?
Let's see. I think, yes, next month, Holly and I will be doing the Kids' Stuff podcast, the Chucky podcast. She's going to be on as my co-host, and we're going to talk about Child's Play 3. We're going to cover Bride of Chucky, and then we're going to review the episodes of the second season of the TV show as it comes out.
Well, that is going to be awesome. I love that show.
Yes.
Mike and I will be at Dragon Con.
The end of the month.
At the end of this month, beginning of next month. So we will try to record some stuff there. There is an actual paranormal track of events, and we may try to take a couple of those in for the podcast.
Yeah.
And we'll see what we can do for that. Also, if you're out there and you're listening and you're going to be at Dragon Con, look for us. You know what I look like. I got a big old Santa Claus beard and long hair. And I will probably be dressed as Joel from Mystery Science Theater at some point with a Tom Servo. I will also be giving out free stickers of the new logo with the new pretty-looking Enrique. And, yeah, we're going to have a really good time. David, I wish you could be there.
No, me too.
One of these days, we're going to get together and we're going to do an event. We're going to go somewhere. It may be the Mothman Festival. It may be the Kentucky Goblin Festival. I don't know, but at some point, we're going to do this shit.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna and if it's the Mothman Festival, silver dollar pancakes.
Yes.
I'm still kind of excited about that. So yeah. And that just leaves me to once again bring up the fact that next Friday, August 19th, 2022, I will be on Flagged for Content with our good friend Darth Plato hosting, and I will be talking about flags, a lot of Russian flags, and making fun of them. We had a ball, we laughed a lot, it was good fun. So that being said, I guess that's it for the show. Mike, you got anything you want to say before I close?
Wow, I'm glad this is done.
Yeah. We can move on to other things that will drive you insane.
Yes. And one day I'll kill you both. Wait, did I say it out loud?
You said the quiet part loud.
Damn it.
Yeah. All
Ignore
right.
that.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We really appreciate it. If you want to donate or anything, we'd appreciate it. You can buy some merch. We've got the Patreon. You can consider joining. We have some new episodes coming out. I got one in the pipe for editing, and me and David are going to try to record one real soon where we read some SCPs.
Mm-hmm. And
if you want to find anything about the show, links to everything can be found at supernatpod.rocks, ROCKS, supernatpod.rocks. You can find us on Twitter at supernatpod. You can find David on Twitter at HPComic, HBKOMIC. You can find Mike. You want to give your Twitter?
Not really.
Okay, you can find Mike nowhere. Here.
You can find Mike by taking a leaf into your open palm, whispering a message into the leaf, then letting it go into the wind over a canyon.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that'll work.
You reach me there.
Yep. Find Mike like that. And again, thank you for listening. We will see you guys next time. So until then, stay safe and stay frosty. Goodbye.
Later.
Don't fuck a donkey.
Yeehaw.
But it's my donkey.
But it's your donkey.
It's your donkey.
Get out of my swamp.
Oh man, and it was donkeys